the topic is also, I think, I'm very interesting to know is that your goal, your dream is want to become politician. That's why we dress in this way. This is my first time to interview your friends with a suit. The first question, what first sparked your interest in pursuing a politician career? Where that came from?
It came from public speaking. It came from when I was in school.
But you got introvert.
Oh yeah, I wasn't talking. I saw people talking.
That's interesting. You are not the person speaking in front of the audience, but you.
I did have opportunities in high school to speak, and I did actually
pretty well.
Pretty well. I did speech and debate.
Do you feel pressure?
Did I feel pressure? Well, when I was in speech and debate, a little bit, but that's just because competition, you know. But I remember when I was young, I was in middle school. It was very early on, and it was very new. And I saw this one kid go up on stage, you know, and very confident, very real, very just like assured of himself, and just speaking to a whole crowd of middle schoolers. And I thought to myself,
that's kind of kid.
Yeah, I'm like, man, I really want to be that, because I knew I wasn't that. You know, I knew from
fear, right? Yeah. Because fear we are talking about.
And I grew up as a quiet, timid kid, so I think like that was very unnatural for me. But I was very what's the word? I admired that so much so that I think when I looked into politics, I saw these figures, these political figures. I was like, man, it would be really great to one, serve people, but to really speak to people. And I think like I later on, like academically, and like I like had some friends who exposed me to like politics and like the whole education of ideology and whatever. That really intrigued me as well. I think a lot of the pursuit of truth, that's something that I was looking for a lot before I was really with God, and like into God, was something that inspired me to want to be like a politician. But fun fact, Barack, I came into college wanting to be a business major. So it definitely wasn't my first choice when I came to college. But, definitely it was something at the back of my mind where I was like, okay, this is something that I think I would like to do.
Yeah, and I believe that a lot of politicians may have a business major degree.
Yeah, a lot of them I think don't even start in the political science.
Yeah, of course. And some of them start as a businessman or work on the real asset.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, or or show or join some TV show. Right, who knows? Right, you have that possibility as well. Who knows? Yeah, got you. So basically, the motivation at the very beginning is that those people who speak in public confidently really, make you feel, you want to be such kind of person. Got you. The second question, is there any politicians or public figures who you admire and think about, okay, I want to become such a person's future? Some person, some name in your mind.
Here's an interesting thing. I don't think so, and that's, I wouldn't say it's a bad thing, but I think I very much inspired by, things of old, like Marcus Aurelius, stuff like that. But I think like I came into politics very aware that it is not.
I think he's an ancient Rome emperor, right?
Yes.
Person I think that lived in maybe AD 300 century, something like that.
Yeah.
I read his book.
Really?
He has
meditations.
Yeah, I read his meditations in a pretty early age, and that's very, very thoughtful and give me a lot of reflection and introspection. I agree. I agree. He's
pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah. And here's an interesting thing, Brock. Like I came into studying politics or desiring to be a public speaker knowing that people are imperfect. Like I know this in the back of my mind that no politician, no matter the words that they speak, sometimes it just doesn't like add up, like they're not, it's not like, you know how people idolize people, not like idolize as a god, but like they're like, hey, this is
that happens a lot in human history.
Yeah. And I was just like, I'm not gonna do that. I just said to myself, like, I will not do that. I do admire aspects of like older, politicians, like let's say JFK or maybe gotta be careful, maybe aspects of Reagan, but
yeah, that's I think that the topic about politics and religions is always very
it can be tricky too.
It can be tricky too
because when I say, oh, I'm a fan, let's say, like here's a controversial figure, Margaret Thatcher. Oh, neoliberal. Oh no, like
that's the thing. I think that just now we talk about freedom.
Right.
I think that at least a person, the right for a person to honestly talk about what they think at that moment, that right should be protected, and I think that's an important part of freedom. If we worry about
what people are gonna say,
for example, I think, hey, I like Owen. Then people say, oh, you like Owen? It's right. It's or I say I dislike Owen. Then people say, well, everyone like Owen. Why you don't like Owen? Well, right. So
and I mean, I think eventually I might change my mind on certain things when I read more. I feel like I haven't read enough.
Let's say if Owen 10 years later look at the Owen 10 years ago, let's say whether your mind change. The last question under this topic is that okay, imagine if someday you become, let's say, either a politician or a public figure, right? If you become a successful businessman, you are also kind of social impact.
Right.
What kind of qualities or what kind of leadership or what kind of value you want to bring to the society or even to the whole world? Because you talk about serving people. How to serve people? Big topic.
It is a big topic because a lot of things can go through my mind, and I think like especially in the context of the United States, that's an even bigger way to think about it. But I think to put it in very simple terms, I think I would really like to inspire people to just think about others, but other than themselves. But I think also I would really like a movement in which people actually get up and go do something. Like I think like I don't know what I would necessarily bring to impact the people of any country, or I can't say any country, this country. I can't go to any other country really to serve, but I don't know. My idea is to be be a very simple kind of politician. Like not to be overly exaggerating or overly like, look at me, but just to be what they say a pure servant, pure, And I would like for people to see me as an example in a way in which we can go serve people in the big leagues or whatever and not be affected by it, And hopefully, I stick to that word.
Yes, 20 years later, Owen.
Just like, oh, I'm in my office about to do some really, sus stuff or whatever, and I just see this video. I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
But I would really like to be an example of just.
But just now you talk about simple. Several things came to my mind.
Yeah.
The first thing is that just now, several hours ago, we talk about simple. But doesn't mean easy.
Easy, right. And I read, it was a book from Plato. It was a book from Plato. Don't know which one, but it was one of them. and it just talked about, doing the right thing sometimes isn't as beneficial as doing the wrong thing or whatever. But I think just because it isn't easy doesn't mean that we shouldn't do it. And just because, it's like.
Even think about, because in life, a lot of easy things you should do well. Go to bed early, get up early, do exercise, eat healthy. Those simple things. It's hard to achieve.
Yeah.
It's hard to stay away from, abuse anything, alcohol, drugs, whatever.
Yes.
Don't drive too fast.
You struggle with that?
Right. A lot of things, simple, but it's not easy to do. Yeah. And another thing is that also we talk about pure. I believe that a lot of people have such thoughts about politician.
Yeah.
Sometimes this word itself has some kind of negative.
Oh yeah, dude. When I tell my relatives that I want to be a politician, they're like, "You want to be a politician? You want to be corrupt?" I'm like, no.
Right. So that's the thing.
Yeah.
I don't think that even for the so-called corrupted politician, I don't think that they are born to be a corrupted politician. I believe that in some stage of their life, especially early life, like lawyer, I know some friends back in college, they learn, they take the major of law, or they want to practice law someday because they have such real passion. Say, hey, I want to practice justice.
Right.
After they enter this industry, work for years, a lot of things happens, and the world doesn't play in a rule you want.
Right.
The world has his own rules to write the. Have you think about that? So the passion you have at this moment, the early 20s Owen's passion, will change after you really enter this cold and crucial, world.
Yeah.
How you think about that potential future, right?
Well,
when you say corrupted, I put $1 million in front of you. Can you still say pure and simple? I don't know.
I don't know either.
I don't know.
But I do know that I know myself, and I can say that I'm a decent person, but I know deep down I am sinful, and I can say that I'm a bad person sometimes.
Everyone.
And I can say that all I know is that hopefully in the future I'll have a repentant heart, but I think Barack, it is not, it's not a matter of like if I do or don't do it, but it's like everything will just be gray. And that's a weird answer to give, but I think it's obviously can't be binary, but I don't know. I think there's a saying that is in my mind. We judge people by their actions, but we judge ourselves by our intentions, And I'm like, well, I won't know how I'll judge myself in the future of whether if I'm being corrupt and having good intentions will warrant or justify whatever I do, or if I do something good or bad. But what I do know, Barack, is that I think I'll be okay. I can't say I'll be perfect, and I can't say I'll be the greatest. But
I got your answer, because my answer can be similar to you, because it's a little bit like romantic relationship.
Yeah.
When you say to this girl or say to this boy, say, I will love you forever.
Right.
Actually, we don't know what happens in the future. But I think at that specific moment, you truly believe what you are talking about.
Right.
That's the most important thing. Right. Who you will be 10 years later, 20 years later, no one knows. But I think that as long as at this specific moment, you're truly passionate about what you are talking about at this moment, that's enough, because future don't belong to us. We only have this specific moment.
Yeah.
So this actually is a tricky question, because myself also question myself sometimes with this moment. I'm thinking about, okay, what I want to pursue at this moment. What if I suddenly change? So what change? Or I just don't want that.
Right.
What if that happens? Then I think this for a long time, and then say, well, fine. 10 years Brock, the Brock 10 years later is actually another person. I can only control myself at this moment. So so either you want to become a simple politician or a pure politician or serving the people. That's the dream, that's the goal, that's the motivation, mission of Owen at this moment. And for the future, I don't know. But it's great. You have confidence about yourself. You will do okay.
I'll be fine.
You will be fine, I think. And also, I think regarding the politician, topic is, what do you think is politician? Does that mean, okay, you have a title, department of what?
Right. Mayor.
Right, that's easy to see. But if we understand in a high level, imagine, let's say you work as student leader, you need to organize something, how to communicate with people, how to influence people, because you are not their boss.
Right.
You don't pay for them.
Right.
But you hope that everyone can work together to achieve a goal. This can also be regarded as politician. Sometimes, well,
yeah.
So what's politician in your mind?
I think you kind of just answered it. It's
I shouldn't answer my question.
But it's relationships and relationship. I think like being a politician, I think core fundamentally is the way in which we are experiencing each other, right? In the way in which like you say, influence or persuade people. But I think it really is just a very official way of just influencing people,
and sometimes even not a official way, because sometimes when you be official, people step back and they have a
preconception.
Maybe a casual way. Sometimes it's even more influential.
I remember I was reading this book about leadership, and it said, before you go run a multi-million-dollar organization, you should do a nonprofit before that. Because if you can learn how to influence people who don't get paid by you,
exactly,
you can influence people who
exactly influence without authority.
Right. And that you can't buy. No one can buy that.
Yeah. Imagine, let's say, for example, today, if you become the American's president, you are influential because your position, your title is influential. It's not about you. But at the very beginning of this nation's built, the influence of George Washington, must came from someone, came from something. Right? There's no such a country. They are like basically, they are, fight against the British government, right? There must be some influence, impact he can create out of those titles. People are willing to work with him for a bigger picture. So yeah, I think that we talk a lot about the politician part is good. Let's go to another hard topic.
Okay.
About Christianity.
Hard? No,
Hard.
That's easy.